I do.
You
I
don't
do
mind
on
if I
Trello.
record it, right? No.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So we can go back and look at this if we need to.
Yes, I'm going to show you like my actual Trellos that are, built out. So here is one. This was like a big event. Let's see here.
When you're
So,
doing the Trello, because I'm somewhat familiar with it, right? But
mhm,
I wanted to see, how you use it, right? Because it's like knowing how to drive a car, but it's another thing knowing how someone else drives the car.
correct.
Do you
Because
use
it's,
kind of like the same layout, to do, pending, and progress?
yes,
Okay.
every board will have, depending on the strategy behind it. But for example, I'll show you where it's just me on the board, and then I'll show you where it's like 10 of us on a board and it's a
Oh,
whole
wow.
team project, right?
Okay.
So here is a big event that Veronica had. It was a 2-day event. It was like a conference. So everything from what needed to happen pre-production to post-production, every expense tracking was in one place so that I could duplicate this and see, keep the budget. I'll show you how I keep a budget. If you, both of you are using Apple.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes. Okay, on Numbers, which is a free program on your Apple, I use the budget tracker and I'll show you how easy it is, and money in, money out, what sponsors are bringing in, what it's costing you. My goal every time I have an event is that this is not going to cost us absolutely anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I really work on my sponsorship, on my sponsors, the relationship, managing expectation, over delivering, so that when we come back again and we ask for more money, they're like, absolutely, take my money because I loved working with you, right?
Okay.
So, this role is very, very self-sustainable in that sense, where like I've done a $50,000 event that cost $2,000,
Wow.
Yeah. So for example, here it was Jenny, Rich, Ella, Izzy, Amanda. Like these are every single task for every single person in order to execute this event. And all of these tabs, Talia, were here on this side. So you create like all the things that this person has to do, and as they're done, they move them over to the done list.
Okay.
This
Okay.
is like was a massive production, right? Like Veronica wanted to do these all the time, and I'm like, girl, these are not events, these are conferences. Like
Which one
there's
was that one?
so
Oh, the
this was a
relaunch. This was the
relaunch in
relaunches?
2021.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
We
wow.
haven't even had any after that because it was like everybody got sick here because it was COVID still, and
Yes. Okay.
and look at the massive amount of work. So, sometimes, Dalia, like part of our jobs is to show the transparency of like how much work goes into certain things, right?
Mhm.
Because leaders, like they want to dream big and they want amazing things. And it's like sometimes we need to quantify like what was the task involved. So this is just a great visual that we could duplicate and say, well, this was like 5 people that went in hard for months. Like, how do we like now Veronica has seen this and she's like, next time we're hiring a company that just does conferences because this is not a good use of our time, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, just like things for you to keep in mind. So everybody had their task, and then I had all of the event details on here, what our timeline or agenda was for the event, the venue, just notes for ourselves internally, things that I wanted to point out. So we made a whole video of like where to park and this and that. Like these are just who our speakers were, who our sponsors were, all of the logos are
Oh,
in
the
one
logos.
place.
Okay.
So,
Okay, cool.
so you could drop in any file and say, like, if you have VAs, it's like, hey, I want you to make graphics going out, thanking the sponsors here, all the logos as they come in. I'll keep dropping them in there, but like, you need to be on top of this. Put another one to do done list, like every graphic that went out, all the outcome of the sponsors. So this is just like a massive project, right? Like, I'll show you our holiday party here. Um, we had a 450 person holiday party, and same thing, what our agenda was. All the receipts are in one place that we can reconcile, all the graphics and everything that we purchased, what the vibe was going to be, what the balloon was going to be. Here there's 4 of us, but I could have added if we had like I don't know, anybody else on the team that was going to execute on anything.
Uh-huh.
The contract for the venue, all of our StreamYard templates that we were using for, to plug our sponsors are in
Okay.
here. So that's
Okay.
that. I'm going to show you what I did for Vincent Koo
Okay.
um, for his holiday party. Holiday party 2023. So he's like, Jenny, I want to do a 500-person holiday party. Do you think I could pull this off in 3 weeks? And I'm like, yeah. You
Mhm.
just need to have a really good Trello board and get your whole team on there and let's go, right?
Mhm.
So this was the template that I'm going to give you today. They had an event overview of what they wanted to do, the who, what, where, when, right?
Mhm.
And then everything that was on the to-do list, everything that was in progress, and everything that was done. And they were tagging everything green. And it just feels really rewarding for the team to see all the tasks being moved. Maybe people who aren't even assigned to something can go into the to-do list and be like, well, I can confirm the DJ, or I can do this, or I can do that, right? They
Mhm.
had their agenda broken down, all their sponsors. Look at all the info that went into the
Mm.
sponsors. Every sponsor, you could have like a checklist in there. Look, they actually had checklists. The email was sent to the
Okay.
sponsor, the invoice was sent, the payment
Mm.
was received, the logo was received. And every time you have a checklist, it saves it to your Trello board. So, like every sponsor, you could just load the same checklist. You don't have to rewrite anything. It's very smart in that way.
Okay.
Um, so they were able to make sure the funds were coming in, like super important part of the
Mhm.
puzzle, right?
Mhm.
This is the budget example that I was telling you, where it's called the simple budget. It's already in your numbers app. And this is how I keep track.
Oh, okay.
Home First paid 3,500. AmeriFirst, they paid 10,000 and they're paying the venue. So I keep track of this. It already has the spreadsheet on there, and
Okay.
everything I'm spending money on is here. And look at what this event came out to, $2,100,
Mm.
and
Okay.
it's almost a $38,000 event.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, so definitely the event one because I've got two VAs and oh my God, the back and forth. And then we've been using WhatsApp, right? So we communicate through WhatsApp, but by the time we get so far into other messages, we've lost the last message on, update the flyer. It's just, I'm like this, no, we can't keep doing this like this.
No, that's not a good use of your time. It's super frustrating. Everything's going to get lost. So this is how we manage VAs, just so you know. We
Okay.
have like this is our content board. We have two VAs on this board and then our team here. So for example, we have our upcoming projects, what's in progress, and then what's ready for distribution, right? Because the most important part is like, okay, this project got done, but like, did it get posted? All that good stuff. So
Mhm.
here is an example. I'm trying to find one with like a checklist, but I just want you to see how
And do
much
you
back.
assign specific things to each VA or both do the
Yeah,
same thing?
yeah. So in this one, you do members and you add the members to this one. So the VA that's in charge of this specific project, you make a tab for it and say, this is the TC videos. This is what I want on the video. So you add everything and the to-dos inside. And then you go back and forth inside this card. So
Okay.
this specific project has all the back and forth in one place that you're like, what happened with that buyer seller video? Well, okay, it dropped off here at September 20th. Rich said to our internal marketer, this is ready for distribution. Here's the file. Everything is in one spot for that one project. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could say this is urgent. This is at the top of your list. You can add labels for like, okay, this is not, regular urgency. So everything that was done, all the email campaigns that were set up. So we just keep moving the project over to like what the next phase is. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's kind of how we manage a VA. And like we could go back to, I mean, look at this. We could go back to Veronica will come back like a year and a half later and be like, do you have my global 2022 video?
Mhm.
And it's like, yeah, it's right here. And here's the file. And here's what happened last with that. We could change, we could reopen this ticket almost and put it back and say, we need to edit this video again. So everything's in one spot. You're not like scrolling through a bunch of
Right.
messaging.
Okay.
Okay. So that's a content board. Um, you have multiple brands too. You have like your real estate local brand, and then you have your coaching and all that. I recommend that you do a board where you are doing something like this. I have a brand board for Veronica's brand. Anytime that anybody wants to work on anything for her brand, I just share this board with them. And I'm like, this is her brand guide, do not deviate from using the color palette. Um, like it's like I don't have to write all of the brand
Over and
specifications in
over.
an email. Yes, I just add a ton of people that need these resources to this board.
Oh, okay. And then they can come in here and grab
They
whatever they need.
whatever they need. I'm like, take all the logos, and here are like this one was specifically done for a website, and it's like these are their page goals. These are some of our inspiration. Here's some of the graphics. Like follow this kind of brand
Mhm.
vibe that we've been doing. Let me see what else. I also have this buyer and seller template. So think of this. I always with your coaching too, Lucy.
Mhm.
Same thing. You want to give people a deliverable, right? Especially if they're exchanging that money and they're wanting to see the result. This is just think of we were just at a talk, and the whole talk was about transparency and accountability. Think of this as like the ultimate amount of accountability, right? Because you're going to see what your VAs are doing. Every day they log what's in progress, what's not. You're going to see what Talia is working on. If you can't sleep at night, you're like, let me log into Talia's board. And it's like, you don't have to go back and forth with her. You could just see what she's working on.
Okay.
With your buyer and your coaching clients, Veronica does this too, because I told her, I'm like, people are paying a lot of money to coach. So give them a board where you already have all your resources in one page, and you say, what are your questions? Here's what we're working on. What are your pain points? How can I support? And then every week, I used to do this because I had 25 clients around the nation that I was deploying marketing for every week. So
Mhm.
it's impossible for me to remember what the hell, where these clients were, what their market was. So I would go do all the digging and research on them. I
Okay.
would post it on a board, and then I would deliver the board as a full-on deliverable. And they were like, wow, this marketer has her shit together. Like she really cares about me. She knows my market. And meanwhile, I'm like spinning my wheels. I probably had done that research once, and then every time I met with them, I would just pull it back up because I'm like, I have no idea where this
Okay.
client is. So think of like how valuable this would be for a buyer, right? A buyer, you're like,
Right.
hey, I'm gonna put you on a board with me. And we're gonna put what your home wish list is, the potential homes. I'm gonna put every link on there of like potential homes for you. All your important documents, drop them in here for me. You're gonna have a to-do list. Important dates and walkthroughs are gonna be on here. You don't have to feel like you're bothering me ever. Any updates I have are gonna be on your board, right?
Mhm.
I'm going to put all of our resources on there, our moving checklist, our walkthrough checklist, our do's and don'ts. Put your title documents on there. Are my preferred vendors. You might need paint and touch up. Everything's going to be in this board for you. And you duplicate this at the beginning of your transaction so that it's just one template. And then you could even have a list here that's like who the buyer profile, like
Mhm.
have a little picture of them and their family, that they feel excited when they come to their board and they feel seen, like, wow, I'm not just a number, I'm like part of their
Right.
process. So that's a buyer, and you can change the logo. I did a seller one as well.
Okay.
So, sell whatever you put on your seller listing presentation, put it on
Mhm.
here. Like you could actually put that PDF on here, but you could take
Okay.
it a step further and say, okay, on page one, I'm saying here's this. So make it visual for people to have like a really great experience working with you.
Mhm.
And then when you're done with the transaction, first of all, like they get to keep it. It's like everything is in one place instead of 1,000 emails too.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So that's that. Let me see what else I have for you. What other, I have something for onboarding I can show you. Let's see.
Okay. So
So,
literally you create a Trello board just for each thing you work on, everything you work on, and then you just duplicate. So you set the template, and then from there, you just duplicate the template. And obviously, as you go, you enhance the original,
mhm,
so that, it just keeps evolving.
it makes sense for that specific project.
Okay.
So here's how our team was using Trello to onboard people because we were onboarding 10 to 15 agents a month.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a lot of work that goes into the agent, right? So
Right.
look at the amount of checklists inside of a person's name. And it's
Okay.
like, and there was multiple departments that had to get involved for every single agent that came on board. So, onboarding is one person, but then the agent was responsible for certain things. We have to make sure they're doing it. Then there's marketing. Marketing had to make sure that we took their headshot, that they got a key card, that they got a digital business card. So it's just again that
Okay.
maximum amount of accountability so that everybody does their part and everything, let's say with Vanelli's and she's like, oh, but I never got my digital business card. And
Mm-hmm.
well, marketing dropped the ball. They didn't even put it on the checklist. Like it's just a really good way to make sure everybody sees their project through and through. I want to show you how I manage a person. Go ahead if you have a question.
Okay. Yeah. No, no, no. That's great. No.
I wanted
Okay.
to real quick though, that board that you were just on, had a bunch of people's names. So that everyone can see that, like everyone can see everybody's names, or do you assign a specific bubble to that specific person and they'll only see their bubble?
No, everybody was on, like whoever was added to the board can see the whole board.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
but it's not viewable to the public unless you make it a public board. But full transparency, it's like a project management. So it's like everybody, like there's five of us who are gonna execute the hell out of this event. Let's go, let's see what needs to get done. Okay, so this is how I manage the person. This
A
is
person. Okay.
like a marketer on our team. She very creative, but like there was no way of like holding her accountable at first. And they wanted, between us, they
Mm-hmm.
wanted to like, okay, let's get someone else. And I'm like, no, let's just work with her and let's coach her up and let's get her, organized. So that's kind of what I did here. She liked to see her weeks broken down. So every
Okay.
week this was just rewarding for her. Every week she was like, this is what I did this whole entire week. All the graphics are in there. No task too big or too small. Put it on there because let's say this person decides to go. Like we are owners of all of this information. Like this can help you hire the right person.
Right. Okay. So,
Sometimes you
okay,
don't
so
know.
this was broken up by week, and then it just showed what they accomplished each week. So everything begins at the must execute. And then from there, they move it over to whatever week they're working on.
Yeah, she had like, it's funny because she had like a must execute, which is like, get this shit done because this is
Uh-huh.
important. And then there
Mm-hmm.
was like a to-do list that is, sometimes a weekly thing that we were always doing.
Okay.
So like she had like a get done list, and then it's like, hey, show me what's in progress this week so that I don't have to bother you. I'm not micromanaging anyone. But if someone has a bunch of stuff in their in progress, you're like, where are they bottlenecked? How can we support?
Okay.
um are they not doing the things, like these are things that you
Right.
need to see, you're the owner of the business, so
Right. So no,
absolutely.
definitely the event, managing the person, and I think that the obviously the buyer, the seller, that would be great. But definitely getting everything organized because we're just working off of, traditional checklists, but it's hard to follow the flow on those.
Exactly. So I'm going to give you the events one because I have it, but really when it comes to managing a person, you'll see like it's just going to come down to how you want to manage that person. If they're like a weekly person, this one was like they had stuff in their weekly and their monthly, they had an idea list. and they had logins, I keep one for logins too, because like we have so many things. I don't know how secure it is to keep logins, to be honest with you, but well, I guess we're testing it out. But you see on my marketing logins, anybody who has any questions about our marketing logins, everything is in one place for marketing because there's
Okay.
so many things, there's Eventbrite and there's this and
Right.
there's that. So anybody who's going to support us, boom, like I can share this board with them and be like, knock yourself out because I need you to log into Aweber, Amazon, Curator, whatever it is. So
Okay.
that's that one. But I'll show you how to make a board really quickly. And you guys have an account already, right?
Yes, I have an account on Trello.
Okay, perfect. Here's another one that I can show you. This is how I managed the cruise that we went on.
Okay, that's cool. So you
So
did
I
most of
had,
that too. Uh-huh.
yeah, I had our graphics. This was our 15 cruise. What was on the to-do list? What was in progress? Again, same format for everything, I always give Veronica her wish list items because I'm like, just tell me, dream big. Tell me what you want
I love
because
that. That's why Jenny is the queen of, Veronica's world. There
yeah,
wouldn't
I'm
be a
like,
Queen Veronica without the Queen Jenny, I'm telling you.
oh, thank you, thank you. I just know her for so many years. I'm like, don't surprise me. Dream big now so that I could see what we could do, right? So
So she just jumps in there and starts writing whatever thoughts she has, and then you come and you help
yep,
execute it.
exactly. And I have all the screenshots of things that I designed in one place. Again, our itinerary, our sponsors. So someone came at the tail end of this project and wanted to help from our team. And I'm like, I don't have time to brief you on everything. I'm going to add you to this board and you're going to see everything in one spot. Okay.
Okay.
You could put your Google Docs in here. So, you could still use Google Docs very much. But at least like now we know the guest list has a spot and here's where the Google Doc is. We had a code of conduct for everybody who went. So it just
Okay.
lets you see the whole project from a view of like, I'm not going to drop the ball anywhere because I'm
Yeah.
looking at everything that needs to happen, right? Here's the
Okay.
budget tracker again. So it's like every bit of money that came in and then where we had money to play with and we got transportation. And next year somebody could work on this and be like, wow, okay, I know I have
And
a lot of
compare.
work to
Yeah.
do. Yeah. Or
Yes.
at a bird's eye view, be like, Jenny's not here, but okay, the cruise cost about, 17 grand. So let's see what we could do. Or do we put that money aside? Just let's you strategize for the next year as well.
And I'm so glad that Talia is seeing this, because a lot of times I feel that when I tell her about these huge big dreams because they're so new to her, this is just me. I think she looks at me like I've got four heads. But then when I look at what Veronica does and when I look at what these big players are doing, I'm like, I'm the little peewee in the batch. Like, I'm not even dreaming big enough. Because I said to Talia, our Southwest Florida real estate mastermind, that needs to start bringing in, $10,000 an event in sponsorships, because we are delivering so much value. Like, every time I hear a mortgage person say, oh, I closed 3 deals with so and so, I'm like, okay, 5 times 3 is 15,000. They made 15,000. Here I am pouring my heart, my blood, my sweat, and my tears out. I'm making no money, but that's
Mhm.
okay, because that's going to change. So Dalia, you see where we need to scale up, way up. And I'm glad that we're seeing this, because
Yes. No, this is incredible. Like, this is such a game changer, and I'm so happy that you're sharing this because this is going to help us out so much, and it's exactly what we needed.
Oh, thank you.
yeah,
I'm
that's why
so glad.
when I was on the gap with you on Monday, I'm like, I need Jenny. I need her. And I need Talia to see this, because if she doesn't see it, once she sees it, she can't
She
unsee
can't
it.
unsee it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So thank you.
And you guys are going to be my guinea pigs because I want to launch templates to sell. Yeah, I
Oh,
want to
okay.
launch. So I'm going to do like a mini course where I teach people how to use it with the niche of real estate. And then I'm going to say, this is how I've helped businesses and business owners, right? Scale or, launch events or do the operations inside of
Right.
the business. So you guys are going to do a testimonial for me and be
Yes.
like my success clients.
Absolutely. Yes.
But,
Absolutely, 1000%.
and look, and this is the thing, if you're doing the events, the key to the events is to really work on those relationships with the sponsors, right? Because we're going to them so often. So
Mm-hmm.
you're plugging them into your marketing machine. The ones that were like our top, like these people just gave us money every month because they were like, we're tired of hearing about your event. So just like put us on auto pay
Okay.
and figure out how you want to use the budget. So again, transparency is key. And you'll get to that point where they trust you so much because they love the events, they love the way that you're plugging them into your marketing. So here's an example of celebration title. Celebration title was like, take my money all the time. So I made them a board and I'm like, I'm going to add all of you and your team to the board. So you see what we have planned for the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, how we're going to plug you into the marketing. Here are all the graphics. Here are all the calendar events so that you never feel like you're not in the loop, right? You can log in once a month here and see exactly what I have going on, what our goals are together, our meetings. We would have meetings and I would put our notes of the meetings in here because they're managing a lot of
Oh,
other relationships, you know?
right, right.
So this was their visibility to our world and how we wanted to include them. And then this was a long-term partnership. You know, they were giving us $2,000 to $3,000 a month, and
Wow.
you know what I mean? So,
And that's
um,
good because I just told Talia, I've been doing the events for 2 years nonstop. They're at the point where we're at the pinnacle of what we've been putting together. Nobody else is putting this together. And the sponsorships that we have been providing are so minimal. I mean, talk about $500, which is nothing for them being able to be in front of 30, 40, 50 eyeballs all in one room, which to me I know is powerful because there's no people in the offices anymore. So when you can bring them to an event where they actually have the audience there, that's
mhm.
valuable. So that's why I said to Talia, I said, right now, we need to scale up because this is super valuable. Being able to put someone in front of 50, 100 eyeballs, two per person, right?
Yeah,
In one place is, I know it's worth a lot more than $500, but you got to start somewhere. And this is
yeah.
where I want to go next because that's what I'm going to leverage. The events and the academy is what I'm going to leverage to really accelerate my growth. But it's taken a lot of time to put all this together because
Mhm.
obviously Southwest Florida is not like Orlando and Miami. I always say it, Miami and
Yeah.
Orlando are so out of the box. We're like, still in the box traditional things like that.
But you're breaking the mold, so keep doing what you're doing. The consistency is amazing. Here's a 90-day marketing plan board, where I had, what are our campaigns coming up, and I would break it up, you know, what videos we wanted to do, what our ideas were. So our whole team could just chime in on what ideas they wanted to execute on, what our priorities were, what our KPIs were, the events that we wanted to do. So we would list out all the events that we want to do in the year and
Okay.
then place them in the quarter that we wanted to execute them on. So quarter
Awesome.
one, yeah, quarter one. And again, this is like I said, it's hard to do a template for someone because it's like, how do you want to work? Because then that's how you do your board, right?
Right.
So you're gonna have
Okay.
to get in there and play with it. And you see, like, you don't need fancy graphics. I like to make them pretty eventually when I add a lot of people because I want it to be like a aesthetically pleasing place for people to come in and collaborate. But
Mhm.
like this was an ugly board. It's just a bunch of lists and a bunch of the cards in each list. But look, for quarter one or quarter two, these are the things that were there and what was done, what was accomplished with its right graphic on there, that
Oh,
we could go back and measure or say, how did this do? Do we want to do this next year? You know, we had a Shred Fest event. How did it do? How many people came? How could we have made it better? We could have a bigger conversation looking back in hindsight at everything that was accomplished, quarter three, quarter four.
that's awesome. Do you have the paid version of Trello or is that still the free one?
I don't know how, but look at how many boards I have, and I still have free Trello.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
So this is the
Okay.
trick. The trick is that you go and you make a workspace, and
Uh-huh.
every workspace, you get 10 boards.
Oh, okay. So we go in there, make a workspace, and within that workspace, we create a board.
So in the workspace, you're going to have one for the real estate team, one for operations, one for marketing, one for events, one for EXP partners, one for resources, one for, title them however you want.
Right.
Like, here's the one for Fig team. In the Fig team, I have, the marketing plan, all the things that were about Canva. See, like,
Wow.
I think I did one recently that is just like silly, but Veronica got a moving truck
Uh-huh.
and she put me in charge of that whole
What are you
project.
not in charge of? Like,
And the moving truck company started sending emails and it was like, here's this, here's that, a bunch of PDFs and a bunch of things
oh,
that I know are going to get lost in my email forever. And I'm like, 2 years later, they're going to come for this freaking PDF and I'm not going to know where it is. So I started downloading everything that was about the moving truck and I did a moving truck
oh,
Trello.
get out. Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Everything about the lease and the design and who we use. Like, it's just like a scrapbook for every single project that you could go back to. And
Wow.
I don't know if she's ever going to need it, but I know that if she asks for it, I'm going to be like, oh, I have that.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Yeah.
What do you think,
The-
Talia?
No, I love it. This is great. This is great. I can't
Awesome.
wait to play around with it.
Awesome. I just want to show you this too. You could do this for the VAs. You could create a position for like your specific, because remember, VAs, like they're kind of lost, right? And they're
Yeah,
not even plugged into the culture. So it's like, what? Like, what do you want me to do, ma'am? I have no idea.
right,
I'm just gonna put this shit together and hope for the best.
right.
And most of the time that you get it, you're like, God, this is awful, right? So so he, so here's how you can manage a VA. You create like a position board and you say, this is my TC coordinator or this is my marketing. What do you have VAs for right now?
Right now, I have VAs for mainly my marketing, uploading videos to YouTube, social media,
Okay.
and then a little bit of administrative, like creating Google Forms and things like
Okay.
that.
Perfect. So you could say these are the role responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, hold on one second.
Oh, that's okay.
That's
You can say, here are all the role responsibilities for this role. It could be a person locally too, right? And then here's all the posts that I want to see every week. And here's show me what's in progress. So you created all the tasks for this person. And every week you're like, testimonial Tuesday. What did you post this Tuesday, right? Put it on your
okay.
in progress and then show me when it's done.
And then how
Um,
do you keep, and okay, so then how do you keep bringing it back to if it's a weekly thing, how does it keep going back to being part of the responsibility once? So let's say week
so
one, it's done. How do you keep
so
replenishing the responsibility part?
so here, I'm gonna show you. I did like this one was very specific. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's say this is a weekly social post and you want you're like, I want to see a weekly report of what you're working on,
Mhm.
So you go here and you go to copy list.
Okay.
And then it's going to copy the whole entire thing right next to it,
Okay, and you can label the different weeks.
the different weeks. And you're going to say week, blah, blah, blah. And that's how she kind of kept track of that weekly.
Okay,
So,
got it.
so that Talia could go on Friday and be like, let me see what this person even did, because I don't want to go check social. I just want to see all the proof. I want to see all the graphics. They were on point. Um,
Yeah,
later
because
you could
that's how I've
say,
been tracking it. I've been going on, let me go on Facebook, let me go on Instagram, let me go. I'm like, no, I can't do this anymore. It's just too time
yeah,
consuming. Mm-hmm.
you could even add a checklist in there and say, did it get posted here, there, everywhere? Check it off. I want to see, because when you do like a checklist and you check them all off, it's really rewarding, but you see it does the pros and it turns it green.
Right.
So you'll know like, okay, this was absolutely done. It's all in green, good to go. And then put them in the done list for that week or just, mark it off and move it off to the side. And you could always go and say, hey, I'm so glad that you were able to do this. Can you go back into these posts and pull all the analytics, see how you would post them better? Like it just lets you have more control of that outcome,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Oh my goodness, yes. This is what I needed to see. I understood the idea of Trello, but
Hmm.
it was like to give you an example, because I like to talk in metaphors. It's like going into a house and seeing how it's built, but then how do I put it together? Like I know what the house has and what it's supposed to be used for, but how do I even put this together? And that's where I would get stuck. So,
Exactly. And you really have to have the strategy so that you, but it's all going to vary based on your, let me see if I could pull my personal one here. Okay. What is your account for
for Trello,
yes,
it's
or the
Lucy
email? Mhm.
LucyQPA@gmail.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna go to boards. I'm gonna give you this template for the event one.
Okay.
Template, corporate event template. Mm.
And I have a whole bunch of boards. It's just I got to get this organized because now I understand the workspaces. So that's what we want to
Mhm.
create. And then I create the workspaces and then I assign people to them.
Yep, you get the
Okay.
right team on there. And when I send you this board, you're gonna go here to the three dots at the top right,
Okay.
and you're gonna go to copy board.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. But let me see. I think there's a way I can share this with you as a template and it'll automatically, let's see, templates. Oh, and that's something else too. If you go up there to templates, you
Mm-hmm.
go to explore templates. Um, there's so many, like look, new hire onboarding, design systems checklist, freelance branding project. So when you look at them, they already have, like, let's see the onboarding one. It gives you a design before the first day of the week, who's who. You could put a name
Mm-hmm.
to the agent that you're hiring. This is our company culture. Like you literally could just make every board make sense.
I love it. Okay. Yeah, that's where I was stuck. I didn't even know which one to choose because I looked at those templates. I'm like, oh Lord, I don't even know which one to choose. So that's why I wanted to just see. I said, whatever Jenny's using is working. I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I just need to start, you know, plugging and playing. So yeah, the one
Exactly.
for the VAs is great. And so I think whatever you can share that has to do with managing people, the VAs, and the event. And then off
Yeah.
of that, I can just follow that
I have
idea.
to work I have to work on the other ones because I don't have them as a clean template. I
Okay.
made, but I'll just give you this one now. Let me see. Start with a template. Forgot the way that I make this into a template. Window history view. Okay. No worries. I will play around with it. I've been using this for 10 years and it's like
Really? Oh my gosh.
I love Trello. I literally plan my daughter's birthdays on here.
Do you? And you
We
do some
did,
amazing stuff. Oh my gosh.
thank you. We went to a cabin for New Year's Eve and it was like 15 of us. And I'm like, I'm gonna put the whole trip on a Trello because I know everybody's gonna ask, where's the Airbnb? What is there to do around there? So I started pulling everything and putting it on one board. I put everybody that was going on the trip. I'm like, don't ask me, but I'm just a person that's very practical. So I'm like, don't ask me the same question. I'm gonna do the work and I'm gonna put it in a board.
Oh my
And
God.
then I even had menus so that I'm like, we don't need everybody to bring eggs. We're going to be there 5 days. Like only two people bring eggs. So I even broke down the meals and people were like, oh, I'll sign up for this or I'll sign up for that. And
Oh
it's
my
like
gosh.
something silly, but it's very important, to be able to manage even those life small projects.
That's fantastic. Oh my God, Jenny, you've been a lifesaver.
Of
I've been
course.
literally been, I'm not kidding you, for the last month. How am I going to organize this? And every time I start thinking about it, I'm like, wait, hold on, no. First, I was going to do it on paper, then I'm going to do it. And I'm like, but then what am I going to do with it? And so we're so on track, and we're so ahead of the game right now. I said, if we don't get organized, it's all just going to flop. It's all going to fall
And
apart.
you
So,
and you want to grow, but if you feel that fear, you're going to sabotage the growth, because
yes.
you're like, how can we handle it? We can't handle it, so we're not going to grow.
Like even right now, we have Dalia's on her way to an open house, and we keep having to repeat the same thing to people about open houses. And how do you set them up? And what do you do at an open house? And what do you need at an open house? And and I'm like, oh my God, I'm tired of going over the same thing over and over. So Dalia, we're gonna have a Trello board for open houses. We're gonna have a Trello board for how to go to the bathroom.
Yes, basically. And it's like, don't ask me, be resourceful.
We're going to
Um,
have a Trello board for our open and close checklist. We're going to have a Trello board for, because I've always been very systematic, but I come from obviously the traditional world, which is checklists. So I do a
mhm.
checklist for everything, but now we need to take it to the next step, which is Trello boards.
Yeah. And you see how I've done one for like Veronica's network, where I have all the resources in one spot. Any announcements that EXP has, I always try to put them on here. The trainings and calls, all the links are in one place. So it's like, look how many people are on this board. About
Wow.
50 people are on this board who are plugged in and use the resources often.
Oh,
And
wow.
then, like make sure they have the links to everything. So you could do this too, in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
You could have a domain go to a board. So this is like visionbuildersdashboard.com, and then it goes to the board.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let me just go ahead and share the corporate event template. I'm gonna copy. Okay, templates. So remember to create a copy, okay?
Yes. Okay.
Uh, and then I'm gonna share this one with you. What was the
Lucy
Lucy?
Q
Mhm.
PA at Gmail.
Okay, perfect. And that's it. You
I
should have
got
it in
it.
your email.
Yes,
Awesome.
I got it, Jenny. All right. Any other one that once you have it or whatever, that you
Yeah,
can just pop me in there. We'll get started with this one. And I think we got a good. Do you have any questions, Sally, or anything, or we're good?
I don't have any questions now, but I'm sure once I start playing with it, Jenny, that maybe I might have some questions. So what would be the best way for me to reach out to you?
on,
Just for
on honestly, the best way if you have questions, let's hop on a Zoom so you can share your screen and then we like knock it out and I can help you that way, especially
okay.
when you're strategizing on how it makes more sense too.
Okay.
I'll share these little tags that I have on Canva so that they're easy to read too, and I just drop the graphics in there.
Okay.
I'm
And
telling you, I'm packaging everything up so that it's like foolproof, easy to integrate into the business, and there's like taking the guesswork out of it. One more thing, Lucy, when you open up a card, you could hit add and then mention the person that you want to talk to in this card.
so what are cards? Because I was looking at my Trello and I had like a whole bunch of cards. Cards are like specific tasks. That's where you do the task for the specific person?
Yeah, so these are lists. Every single long thing of these is a list,
Okay. And
and
then
then you
you
add a card to the list.
to the task. Okay, got it, got it, got it. And then you add the person you want to take care of that task.
Mm-hmm. You could
Okay.
add the person, or you can add labels to it. You can add a checklist to it. You could add a due date to it.
Okay, got it, got it. Okay,
Uh,
perfect.
and we didn't even talk about power-ups. Power-ups are like a whole other beast too. It's free tools that you could add like Chrome plugins kind of.
Oh,
Um, you could integrate Slack, you can integrate Gmail, you could integrate Google Drive, just all the things so that, let's say, once you get more advanced in here and you're like, every time this task is done, it should automate and trigger something in the CRM to go tag a buyer or seller or tag the closing. Like you could get very, very, very micro in here once you're.
Oh, okay, got it.
Mhm.
All right. Whenever you get a chance to have a clean one for the VAs, that would be a game changer because I think that's where we're kind of getting lost a lot. And then when we meet
Well,
with the VAs, we forget what to ask them and we forget what to tell them, and it's just a headache.
yeah, well, the VAs, like I said, if you just start, so I would do a new workspace. Here, share your screen. Let me just show you 1 second. Hold on. Content. Okay. So you see how all you have to do is
Okay,
have a to-do
okay,
list, what's in progress, and what's done. Really, that's where you need to start. Everything's gonna happen inside of the cards once you have them on here.
okay, got
Because,
it.
but
I'll
let's
just
do,
use that. I'll just
no,
use,
let's do it right now. Like I'm gonna show you how simple. So go ahead and share your screen and then show me the Trello.
okay, so I gotta go to Trello here. Go to Trello.
And you can download an app for your computer and your iPad for Trello, and it'll have its own application instead of being on the browser.
Okay, I was actually looking on my Trello on my I was looking at Trello on my phone, but I think I can log in. I hope I can log in. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I'm in there.
yeah, you'll
Yeah,
just log in with
I'm
your
in there.
Gmail.
Okay, so share the screen. Oh, it's actually working better than I expected. Okay, that's my Trello.
Perfect. Okay. So you have a workspace for administrative assistant, assistant Q international. That's a workspaces here on the side, on the left-hand side. Keep scrolling down a little bit. Q international, but go on all the way to the left so you can scroll on there.
See, that's
Okay.
what I didn't even know that I had. Like, I'm telling you, I've used this thing kind of like riding a bicycle. I didn't even know what I had. We just started creating stuff and then it didn't work and then we stopped working. And then I've been trying to find somebody that knows how to use Trello. And
Yeah,
that's what
I
I said,
know.
I need to get this together. So,
I love it.
um,
Okay, so let's create a new workspace today. You're gonna
okay,
go to you're gonna go to create at the blue button at the top.
here, create. Okay,
Mhm.
create a
You're
board.
gonna
No,
a
a
workspace.
Okay,
Mhm. And then let's name it something that makes sense. So if you want to put VA
okay,
workspace.
okay. And then workspace type,
You could just operations is
operations.
fine.
Okay,
Uh-huh. You don't have
okay.
to say anything for the description. Just hit continue.
This one, something. Okay,
And then I'll do this later.
okay. I'll do this later.
Okay. Now you're gonna create so to create a new board. You see that gray box inside of the right, scroll down a little bit.
Oh, create a new
Create a
board.
Yep. And remember, you get 10 of these for every workspace. So do you want to manage a specific VA that maybe this
Yeah,
just belongs to them?
let's say a teeth.
Okay. So create a TIFF.
Then create.
Okay. The first thing I do on boards is go to the three dots at the top right.
Here?
No, at the very end of the board
Oh,
where
here.
it says
Here?
share. Yeah. And then you're gonna go to change background.
Okay.
The first thing I do is I go to photos and I search white. Just where it says photos, search white. The reason why is I just choose any white that looks clean.
Okay.
because I feel like the less busy is, that's just me. I just
Better.
want the cards to pop. I don't want people to get overwhelmed when they come on here. I don't know, it just picks like a random picture. So I always choose something white. You can play around with the pictures, but maybe Atif loves the beach. Like, fuck it, I don't care. Choose a beach picture because I want you to feel inspired when you go in there and get the work done.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so you see how they already gave you a to do, doing, and done?
Uh-huh.
They already
Okay.
kind of started you off there. You could create another list and do logins so that you always have the same. If they create a login for you, you're like, what is that? Like, I need the login. So you're going to add another list on the right, where it says add another list.
Okay, and then on the list. So logins.
Yeah, I would do logins.
Okay, you
Um,
just add logins, logos,
sure.
because he works a lot with logos.
Yep.
Okay, so you just add the list of the stuff he needs, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So it could be logins, it could be logos, it could be social media platforms, right? The ones that he that is
That he
social.
manages.
Okay. And then you put under those the cards.
Yes. So go back to the front and then to do. Like, let's say you already have a few things that you're like, this project is definitely something that's pressing. So add a card and you're going to title it, you know, whatever it is that you have on your mind that you've been wanting to execute.
Okay. And then we add the card. Oh no, okay, that's the card. And then I can edit the card,
You can edit.
right?
Yeah.
So then in
So
here's where I would write what I want him to do. Or I
yeah,
can say, here's what you're gonna do every week. Or
yeah,
here's what you're gonna do.
you could say YouTube video uploads. So tell me a little bit how you're working with them, because this is important for us to do it together because it has to make sense. I don't think YouTube video uploads makes sense because it's like, are they sorry, I'm just thinking it through. Are they doing like a specific video that you sent to be edited? I don't know. How are they getting the content?
So I think the best thing would be like Zoom YouTube videos to upload. And then what that means is that there are Zooms that I'm doing every week with Columbia, right? Like yesterday we did our coaching with Columbia, and that is recorded on Zoom. And then Talia takes that Zoom link and she sends it to Atif through WhatsApp. And then Atif takes it from there and he puts it onto YouTube. And that's kind of like what we do. Or for example, if we tell Atif, create the link for StreamYard, because every Friday we have Agents in the Trenches. And so he's like, okay, so what's the title? And then he's like, okay, so who's the person and where's the picture? So I think that's where we have to just consolidate. So instead of her putting it into the chat, if we have weekly Zoom YouTube videos, right? So every week we have Zoom videos to upload, we have StreamYards to do, we have Eventbrites to email. That's where we are working with him right now. I think that doing this, like you showed me earlier, the things to do or the responsibilities, we can create a list, we can duplicate it every week, and then we can give him exactly like you showed me where you're like, okay, this is what gets done every week, but then we want to see exactly what was accomplished. And then just repeat that. That's what we do with Atif.
Okay, okay. So there's a weekly Zoom YouTube video. And does he make shorts out of it too? He makes like reels?
Not right now. We want to
Okay.
get there. We want to get there. He was before, and we kind of stopped it because we got too disorganized and it was just too much to keep track of. So we said, okay, let's go ahead and just stay with what is the most imperative, right? So the most
Okay.
imperative is the weekly coachings that I'm doing with Latin America, uploading them to YouTube. But then that's where it stops because we don't have any other way of continuing the repurposing or whatever. And that's what I want to be able to do, but I need something to organize it so I'm not losing track of everything.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So definitely it would make sense for every new card to be the card of the week, the with the new link, that every week it's a brand new project, even though it's an ongoing project, right? Zoom
Okay.
is giving you a new link. So I think you're on the right track here, and then say, give them any specific direction on this description. You know, please make sure that this and that, or at, I don't know how specific, but sometimes you're like at minute 1.5, like this is very important. Or you know,
Okay.
like just whatever direction so that they have everything ready there. And then yep. And you're gonna have a call with him, and I can be on this call too to help like guide them. And it's like, this is how we're gonna work now, because some of them are gonna be like, what is this? You know?
Okay, so then this is what would happen, right? And then within that card, we can always go back and now we would have to
Edit.
update it and put the link. So, and
Yep.
then obviously we would add him as a member, right?
Yeah, well, this whole board is his, so you don't have to add him.
Oh, we
If
could
you were
add him.
managing a content board and then you have 3 VAs, then you could select, but he's the only one that's gonna have access to it.
Okay. And
Mhm.
then I add him on here. How do I add him on here to this board?
You would go to share, where it says share on the right by the 3 dots at the where you change a
Oh,
picture.
here, share. Okay, share.
Mhm.
And then I would add his email.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
So we'll organize this. And then, yeah, so then I can do this so I can create one of these within the VA workspace. I can create one of these boards for each VA and then just put
Mhm.
on there what we need them to do.
Correct, correct. And you're going to come up with more ideas on more lists and more things, things that you're like, I want going forward, like everything that you would have sent in a damn chat, I wanted it here and I want a visual of it. All the
Right.
graphics in one place. I mean, just anything you want, you can ask them to drop it in here.
Perfect.
Oh, and
Okay.
go back to that card really quick, the one that you made for him, the Zoom YouTube. So let's say you also add a date to it. So yeah, you can say this is due like next week.
Okay. So we can
Uh,
put on here. So let's say this would be due on Monday by 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Set due date reminder. So we can say an hour before. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of doing this. I just, like I said, I was just shooting from the hip.
I
And then I
know.
was questioning myself because I didn't know if I was doing it right. But that's why I know I have the concept. I just didn't have the actual, framework of how to do it.
Yeah, and these VAs are in a different time zone, so sometimes it's like so insensitive to you're like, oh, I don't want to write to them in the chat, but also you just thought of what you need, like, you don't want to feel like you're blowing them up. It's like, hey, when you log in, this is where you're gonna log in, and this is where we're
Right.
gonna collaborate,
Okay. Oh yeah, poor Atif. He's been with me for a year and a half and I blow him up at all hours. But he knows. He goes, I'm like, Atif, you're not responding. He goes, ma'am, I always respond. Sometimes he goes MIA, they pick up other contracts and things like that.
Yeah,
All right,
definitely.
Jenny. So listen,
So
I
Jenny,
so appreciate all this.
Of course. Yes, babe.
I have
So
a quick question. So for that one that she just did, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so for that one she just did, right? Atif, he takes the video, he takes the link, he uploads it on YouTube, and then he submits the YouTube link. He would add it as a comment there, and then move that whole card to done. Is that basically what he would do?
Yep.
Okay.
yeah, he
Yeah.
would put it in the notes, right? He would put the link in the notes.
Yep.
He
Everything will
could,
be in one place.
All right. Cool.
And
That
then
was
like move, click out of that screen, Lucy, and move it over to the done list.
oh, okay. So hold on. Move this over. Okay.
Uh-huh. And then you could you see that little pencil that comes up? You see that little pencil? Click on that, and you can change the cover, go to change cover, and you can make it green.
Oh, that means it's done.
Uh-huh. You could even say, like, to that point, I want to see all these things in green. Go to that top to the whole cover. You see how you could do piece of it or the whole? I like to do the whole thing. Yep. And then that's it. You just hit save.
Okay. Oh, the
And
whole thing is green. Okay.
so it's like very rewarding for him to see his work done. There's accountability, there's transparency, and that he's getting paid, but the shit is moving the needle, you know?
Right.
Like,
Yes. Okay, good. So he can take it from there, from here, move it here and make it all green. So we can actually tell him, change the cover to green, and that way we know it got done.
exactly.
Oh, beautiful. Okay,
Okay.
got it. I'm gonna leave that there as a reminder. Okay. Oh my goodness, Jenny, thank you so much. We'll definitely
You're
be reaching out again.
welcome. Of
You're
course. And then,
awesome.
oh, and then one more thing. Go to like go up there to where it says Trello, to go to the main page.
Here.
Yep.
Okay.
Go to your notifications, which is at the top right. Yep. And then go to that board that I shared with you, Lucy event board. So you go now to the three dots, and you're gonna create
Copy board.
copy board. But you're gonna do on the workspace, don't add it to the assistants. You're gonna add a new workspace. I think you could add a new workspace from here. Go ahead and click down.
So
No,
this is gonna
okay.
be for the events. Okay.
You're gonna have to go to the main screen and create a new workspace for events.
Okay.
So you
then
add it to the right workspace.
okay, so then I would go to workspace.
You're gonna go up there to the blue button and do create a new workspace.
Create a workspace. Oh, okay. Make it events.
Uh-huh.
Choose workspace. We can make it marketing.
Sure. You don't have to write anything in there.
Okay. Okay. Continue. And then
Oh,
I'll
when
do
you add, so let's say Talia adds, you have your own Trello, Talia, because like I said, you're gonna want to use it for your own personal life, and I have multiple Trello accounts, but you could invite Talia to a whole workspace, so she's gonna see all the boards in there because you're making
okay.
her, so that's where it's like invite your team to this workspace because there's all transparency there. But you could add that later, once she has her, yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, she has to have her thing. Okay, so I'll do this later. And then
That
so now that workspace is, oh, events is there.
Uh-huh. So you could go back to your notifications.
Notifications, and then I can go back to,
Oh, go there to only show. You see it says only show unread. So click unclick that and you'll
okay,
see.
okay, and
And
then I'm gonna make a copy,
mhm.
and then I'm gonna
And
make a copy for events. Oh, okay. And then it says keep the cards? No.
yep.
Oh, yeah, and keep the template. Okay,
hmm
events.
Oh,
What's
you
it?
have to title it. You have to title it.
Okay.
So maybe use it, say template. So Lucy or events
Okay.
template. Because from here you're gonna copy it every time you have a new event.
Okay. Okay, so every time I have an event, I copy it for the new event. Okay, cool. Events template.
That way you know like that you don't have to start from scratch but if you ever need it again, I always keep a copy.
Okay.
One more thing before we go is you see how in the to-do list, click on where it says create all your tasks. Don't click on it, but you see the little pencil.
Mm-hmm.
Click on the pencil. You're like, okay, Jenny, thank you for the note, but I don't want this in my board. You're gonna archive it.
Okay.
And that's how you get rid of any card.
Okay, got it. But I can
Okay.
leave that one there
Yeah.
for now. Okay, so if
Yeah.
I don't want it, I can archive it.
Yeah, like if something's just not relevant to your board, you just archive it.
Okay. If I have other boards that I want to delete, is there a way to delete other boards?
Yeah, go back to that Trello and then you're gonna go click through the
Boards? Because I have like tareas generales, like I don't even know who created this. So how would I delete this from here?
yeah. You're gonna go to our settings. I believe you can.
I may have to archive it because I think that's what we were trying to do, and it kept saying that we may have the upgrade to organize or something. So
Go
if
back
I
to,
archive it,
go to the three dots again. Yeah, you might, and then go back. You see that little arrow? You have to go back on the top. The little arrow, yeah. And then you can archive if it lets you. No, about this board. Hit about this board. Okay. That's interesting.
board
So-
admins, like who the heck is this?
Oh,
This is what
sometimes.
somebody else is an admin, I think. Q internet. I have to find. I think I have to
Yeah.
log in. Who's the admin? I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes you
I
won't be
think
able
I have
to.
to go. Yeah, I think I have to go. Administrative assistant. I have to go into with the email for the administrative assistant at Q International. I think. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
And
gonna
then,
go there.
because if you don't own it, you won't be able to delete it.
Got it. Okay.
Maybe it was shared from another account and then it added you.
Yeah. I think
But
that's
yes,
what happened.
we're about to Trello your whole life. Your granddaughter's gonna have her own Trello board. Be like,
Oh my gosh.
first birthday.
Isn't that, I know that this is gonna be a game changer for sure. Oh my God. Thank you,
Wow.
Jenny. Thank you
You're
so much. I
welcome, my love.
appreciate it so much.
I'm gonna keep working on the templates and you guys are gonna test my mini course and you're gonna help me make it better.
Yes,
And then
absolutely.
I'm gonna put you on my sales page as like a testimonial and I'm so excited. I need to do this
Yes.
because I need to make money in my sleep, you know?
Yes, you do. And you know what? Latin America doesn't know how to do this. So we'll promote it in Latin America too.
Yeah, and I was thinking of like I could make templates in Spanish where it has the
Yes.
strategy in Spanish and people don't have to guess and you know, but again, I need to have these conversations. So it's like, how do we set this up? There's so many ways, but I don't want people to think it's one size fits all, you know?
Right. Yeah. No, it's customizable. So absolutely count me in. I'll be your guinea pig.
Thank you, my love. Thank you. Let me know if you have
Alright.
any questions, okay?
Okay.
Thank
Thank you
you,
so
Jenny.
much.
You're welcome. Anytime you need me, we'll hop on a Zoom, okay?
All right, sounds like a plan. This was
All
incredible.
right.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Have a great day, ladies.
Appreciate it. Say hi
Bye.
to Rich for me. Say hi to Rich.
I will. I
Okay.
will. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.